the devil will be in the detail, I think, and how it's implemented. And but in broad terms, I would suggest it's a case of something needs to be done. I think there's a concern that maybe good young players aren't getting the competitive football that they need to bring them on. I think obviously the academy system is great up to a point, but you need to get them out and play in senior football, and at times that's difficult to place your good young players in the right clubs and give them the opportunities they need. So I've seen it in Spain. Obviously we've benefited from it this year with Mark Hughes, who's been able to obviously play senior football at League 2 in Spain, and you see the difference in his play. He's been able to build on that. He's come here, and now he's a Premier League player, and that's what playing senior football at an early age can do.
Can you understand some of the consternation in the lower leagues, where the concern?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it needs to be, if it is to be implemented, those concerns need to be addressed, obviously. But I think it's right that we're looking at it. But it's, as I said before, it's the devil's in the detail, and everybody has to sign up to it before it's implemented, I would suggest.
Okay, the other one is we're asking all the Premier League managers what their highlight of the season is. Have you got one?
Our highlight? Well, we hope our highlight's coming on Sunday, to be perfectly honest, because if we can win at the weekend, then we'll get a highest points total. Hopefully we certainly will be 10th. There's a chance we could be 9th as well. So that would be a huge highlight for everybody connected to Stoke City if we can do that, because it's been a season of big changes here, obviously managerial and the way we go about things. So to finish off the first season after all those changes with something to look back on and an achievement that no Stoke team has done, then that would certainly be the highlight for us.
It's a vindication for you as well, isn't it? And your style of football, which when you came in was it something of a risk?
Well, maybe a risk to change it, but I didn't think. I said at the time it wasn't about revolution; it was evolution. We were going to obviously keep elements of the team's pattern of play that served them well, but maybe add a few different strings to our bow, and I think we've done that. And initially we probably didn't get the balance right. Second half of the season we have done, and as a consequence results have improved. So all in all, it's been a really satisfying season for everybody.
Stoke have only scored 2 headed goals all season. It's the lowest in the Premier League. Tony Pulis will be turning in his grave.
Well, we certainly try. I mean, we've been close on numerous occasions, outstanding saves and posts being hit and wherever they've denied us a greater percentage of goals, but from headed opportunities. But it's not to say we've shied away from set play, where we certainly have. But we no longer have a certain Mr. Delap who caused consternation in opposition boxes with his delivery, so we haven't got that option these days, unfortunately. But we've been able to score a decent number of goals from a lot of different areas, so we've got a good spread right through the team in terms of goal scorers, so that's always healthy. You've got to be able to score goals from different areas, and we've produced from midfield areas and up front as well, and from wide areas, so our goal threat's okay.
Yeah, it looked great at the weekend as well, with Saidi and Odemwingie and Arnautovic all together linking up incredibly well. But I wanted to ask you about Odemwingie. This is going to be his first time back at the Hawthorns. What reception do you expect him to get, and is there anything you can do to protect him? Will you play him? Will you start him?
Oh yeah. I mean, Peter's an experienced player. He's used to playing under pressure, and there may well be some focus on his presence on the day. But you'd like to think that there'd be a recognition of obviously the good play that he produced for West Brom. Scored a lot of goals for them, helped them in the cause of staying in the Premier League for a number of seasons. It didn't end as he would have liked, I'm sure, if you spoke to him, that it was unfortunate, but it did happen. You have to obviously deal with the consequences of that, but Peter's an experienced player. He's very much in my thoughts for the game, obviously, because of the way he's playing at the moment, so it wouldn't be a case of taking him out of front line as a consequence of any stick that might be directed his way. I'm sure he can deal with it.
I mean, he has dealt with it incredibly well, hasn't he? I mean, this season. He's back in the Nigeria squad as well. It's kind of a rebirth, isn't it? I'm guessing when you signed him, you knew this was, a potential, and you're not surprised that he's now doing what he's doing.
Well, for me, he was never a risk because he was proven at Premier League levels, so that was the attraction for me. I tried to get him in the summer. We weren't able to do it then, and he went to Cardiff, but obviously January we were able to do the deal, and we've been really pleased with what he's produced, and as a consequence of his performance and how he's played, and obviously he's scored goals for us, helped us along the way, and helped his own cause in terms of World Cup selection. So I think that illustrates how well he's actually done since he's walked through the door here. He's had an immediate impact, and that's helped us and it's helped him.
Samar Saidi, back from his injury, has looked really impressive. He was fantastic at the weekend. He told me after the game that Stoke's a good second option for him if Liverpool don't want him. Is that fair enough? Have you got to let Liverpool decide first? Where are the discussions taking you at the moment?
No, as he is a Liverpool player, that's where we are with it. He's done really well, and we've been really pleased with what he's produced. But at the end of the day, it will be determined, certainly to a certain extent, by Ozzy himself, but more prevalently from Liverpool, his parent club, because they hold the cards, to be perfectly honest, and we'd love to be in a position to be a good option for him. I think we are, in terms of where his football is and the enjoyment of his work at this moment in time. He likes being here. I think that's shown in what he's produced for us. But we would like to make it happen, but we're only in initial stages of discussions.
Where are you with Andy Wilkinson and his contract? He says he'd like to stay. I think he's told.
Yeah, Andy, we'll do something with Andy. I think there's a willingness from both sides to get something done. This is his club. There's nobody prouder to wear the Stoke shirt than Andy. He hasn't had as many opportunities this year as he obviously would have liked, but his value to the squad is huge, so I'm sure something will be done very quickly.
Thank you. And West Brom, just about safe now, barring a mathematical miracle, but have you got a bit of sympathy for Pepe Mel? Again, your knowledge of Spanish football, he came over here without any Spanish backroom staff, didn't speak the language brilliantly. He's kept them up by the skin of their teeth. Have you got some sympathy for what he's had to deal with there at West Brom?
Yeah, well, it's difficult to come into any situation mid-season, take away the fact that maybe we've not experienced Premier League before that either, and maybe there was a little bit of a language barrier initially, but I'm sure he's able to get his message across on the field of play and when he's coaching, because it's in more simplistic terms. But at the end of the day, he's got the job done, as you said. It's highly unlikely that they're going to be relegated now, so certainly when he was given the role, that was a prerequisite that he kept them up, and he's been able to do that. So whether or not it's going to be a change of thinking, I'm not privy to that. There seems to be a lot of speculation, but at the end of the day, he's done the job that he was asked to do.
Well, thank you.
Injuries?
Injuries, the likelihood is that obviously Saidi won't be available. He's had a little bit of a reaction from last week. Thought it'd settled down, but it probably won't, so he's likely to miss Sunday.
Peter's back in the reckoning to get into the starting 11 then?
Yeah, we've got good options. Yeah, we may look at a number of things, but yes, and Peter's a good option for him.
Okay.
All done.
Thanks, Mark.
No problem.